We haven't seen these high-level talks between the U.S. and China since October of last year or so. So what are we expecting during these talks?
Well, it's just, upping the game a bit because the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, will be meeting face-to-face with Yang Jiechi. He is China's top diplomat. He is a top-ranking official on the Politburo. So they are raising, the level of contact because the White House, while stopping short of, outright condemning Beijing's neutral stance, they're trying to court Beijing's efforts to, wield its influence on Moscow to A, enforce the sanctions, and as well, of course, ultimately help persuade Vladimir Putin to end his war in Ukraine. So the fact that these two gentlemen will be meeting for the first time face-to-face since the war began is positive news on both of those fronts. Perhaps Jake Sullivan did the rounds on Sunday morning talk shows in the United States. He told CNN that the U.S. wouldn't allow others to provide lifelines to Moscow. That is in regard, of course, to that story that has emerged this morning that U.S. officials are essentially saying that Moscow has asked Beijing for military support, military equipment for its war in Ukraine. We do not know what kind of military support or military hardware that they have asked for, and we do not know what Beijing's response has been. We do know that Beijing so far has not, or has, sidestepped the question of whether they would condemn the invasion of Ukraine. This is what Jake Sullivan told CNN. We will not stand by and allow any country to compensate Russia for its losses. There absolutely will be consequences for any large-scale sanctions evasion effort. So we'll have to see within the next 24 hours as they meet in Rome what progress they can make with the Chinese.
This would be a real shift in terms of that carefully calibrated neutrality for Beijing, right?
Absolutely. Of course, we all know that they are not necessarily taking sides. They have not condemned the war. They have stood by that no limits relationship that Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin declared at the beginning of the Olympics. But at the same time, they've also recognized Ukraine's sovereignty and also the humanitarian crisis that is ongoing, and that they would not necessarily mediate peace talks, but they would do what they could to help facilitate a eventual ceasefire in the Ukraine. Now, we do know that Beijing was neutral, had an official neutral stance when Moscow annexed the Crimea in 2014. Any kind of military support, and I'm not saying Beijing is doing that, but if it did, that would really take a lot of the luster, the shine off this veneer of neutrality on this war.